Hello, pre-calc students. I've got three problems to show you, hopefully, how to do them. It has to do with the unit circle, so here's a bunch of gibberish that I'm going to try and explain to you, starting with problem one. Problem one gives you the fact that cosine theta, which that's supposed to be a theta, but I colored it in, at least I stayed in the lines. Cosine theta is equal to negative 4 over 7. Forget about the negative for right now. Just use SOHCAHTOA, 4 over 7. That's what I did here. So I draw a triangle. I just put theta down in the corner. And cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's 4 and 7. And then you use Pythagorean theorem to come up with the missing side here. And Pythagorean theorem says if you're looking for a leg or a straight side, you have to subtract. You got to do 7 squared is 49 minus 4 squared is 16. You get 33, and then you take the square root of that. So that's this right here. That's how I got square root of 33, which we need because the problem wants you to solve for sine of theta. So to figure out sine, you needed that opposite side. And to get that opposite side, you had to do Pythagorean theorem by filling in these two sides from this information. That's why they gave you this information. So you could fill in two of the sides, use Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. Then you do sine over theta, opposite over hypotenuse, and you get square root of 33 over 7. So where does the negatives come in? What does all that mean? And why did they say that this is in between pi over 2 and pi? Because now they're talking about the coordinate plane. So this isn't just a regular old triangle floating around. This triangle is in one of these three quadrants. And that's what this tells you. This tells you it's between pi over 2 and pi, which is the second quadrant. So your quadrants are either in degrees, which would be 90, 180, 270, 360, or they're in radians, which is half pi, pi, 3/2 pi, and 2 pi. So in this one, they give you it in radians. So they're saying you're in between half and pi, which is right here in quadrant 2. So since you're in quadrant 2, this is the quadrants. To the left is negative, to the down is negative, up and to the right are positive, just like you would always have done when you plot points. To the left is negative, down is negative. So since you're in quadrant 2, and since we had 4 over 7, theta is always right here at the origin. So this would be theta right there. So this would be your 4, and your hypotenuse is 7. 4 is going to the left, which is negative. The hypotenuse is always a positive number. You're only worried about your legs. Are you going left, up, or down? Don't worry about the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse part's always positive. So this is really negative 4 over positive 7, which is negative 4/7. That's why this is negative, because of this. If it would have said cosine theta is in the first quadrant, then it would have been positive 4/7, because to the right 4 is positive. All right. So back to sine theta. Sine, we're using the square root of 33, which is this side right here, and that side is going up. Up is positive. So this is a positive answer. So positive square root 33 over 7. All right, let's do this again with the second one. They give you that cotangent is 2 over 5. Well, cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So if cotangent's 2 over 5, then tangent's 5 over 2, and now I can build my triangle. Tangent of 5 over 2 is opposite over adjacent, SOHCAHTOA, so that'd be 5 and 2. That's where these two numbers come from this. And then you do Pythagorean theorem, which is 25 plus 4 is 29. So your hypotenuse is square root of 29, and they want you to find cosine. So that'd be 2 over the square root 29. You cannot have a square root in the denominator, so you multiply it by 1, which is in the form of 29 over 29, both square roots. And when you square a square root, the square root goes away. So that's how you get rid of the denominator being a square root. You've basically moved it into the numerator, but that's okay. All right, so where are we with our triangle? We're between 180 and 270, which is quadrant 3. So we're actually down here. And they want us to do cosine. So this 2 direction right there was actually just like the last one, going to the left. So 2 was negative. That's why this answer is negative. All right, third one. Third one gave you the fact that cosecant, if I remember correctly, that's what it's called, yes. Cosecant is -2. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. The reciprocal of -2 is -1/2. Again, forget about the negatives for now. Let's just build our triangle. And I've built the triangle in the correct quadrant this time. It told us that it's in quadrant 4, between 3/2 and 2 pi. That's quadrant 4. So I just went ahead and put it there. Now you can see why it's negative, because the 1 is going down in the negative direction. The opposite over hypotenuse is 1/2, but the 1 is going down, so it's negative. All right, we got to build the rest of our triangle by doing Pythagorean theorem. So you square that side, which is 4, square that, that's 1, subtract, you get 3, so this is the square root of 3. And you needed that because they want us to find tangent, which is opposite over adjacent, so you needed that adjacent side. So tangent is 1 over 3, actually 1 over square root 3, so you multiply it by square root 3 over square root 3 because you can't have a square root in the denominator. And you get square root 3 over 3. Why is it negative? Because the tangent, the opposite side, is going down, which is a negative number, a negative direction, I should say. If this would have said between 0 and pi over 2, that would have been in the first quadrant, and the 1 would have been going up. It would have looked like this. Trying to draw backwards. So the 1 would have been right here, which would have been going up. That would have been a positive direction, so this would have been a positive answer. So if you're in quadrant 1 or quadrant 2, tangent's positive because your opposite side's going up. If you're in, well, let's not get ahead of myself. I might not be exact. It's opposite over adjacent. So actually quadrant 2 would be negative because that's a up is a positive direction, but this way is a negative direction. Forget about that. Just this right here is negative because that's a negative direction. This is a positive direction. Negative over positive is negative. All right, that's all for tonight. I can help you with the next set of problems tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have time to make a video. But maybe I need to redo that or something. So let me know if that makes sense. If that makes sense, then I'll try and do another video on the next set tomorrow.